Good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. So I hope all of you are doing well. Okay, so from today we are starting with science, and we will start first with this portion of general science, and then we will go to the portions of science and technology. Okay. So before we start the session, tell me one thing: what subjects you have done till now? English, history, any subject which you have completed by now? Acha, you have completed, I think, 4 main subjects: history, geography, economy, and polity. So your majority portion has been done. Yeah. Like these are the four subjects. Classes. Okay. So today we are starting with science, and then later on with science and tech. Okay. So tell me this one part. I think all of you have gone through syllabus. No? General science. In UPSC syllabus, in prelims, what it is provided? What is there in the syllabus? There is one single line which is written in your syllabus, and that is basically general science. Only this much is written in UPSC prelim syllabus. Okay. Although there is only 2 or 3 questions from general science, what we consider general science, but in syllabus only one thing is mentioned: general science. Okay. So that is one part about the syllabus of UPSC prelims. Only general science is mentioned. Now, if we talk about the main syllabus, they have given specifically some of the topics which you have to cover. We will see them. At the same time, what is the relevance of this subject? Like how many questions are there in prelims and mains? When we talk about the prelims, exam, how many questions are there? On an average, 15 questions. Okay. Sometimes it is 18 also. In some years it has been 20 also. In some years it has been 12 also. But on an average, you will find that 15 questions are there, 15 MCQs, which are coming from science and technology. General science plus science and technology. In total, 15 questions are there. And in the mains portion, there is a fixed portion. There is a fixed number of questions which are coming from science. Most of the time, it is 3 questions. Sometimes they are giving like 3 questions in 10 markers, 1 question in 15 markers. So generally, on an average, if we talk about the mains, in GS paper 3, we have got 3 questions of approximately 40 marks. Sometimes it is of 45 marks also, because there is 1 question of 15 markers and 3 questions of 10 marks each. Normally 40 to 45 marks is there. So this is the syllabus, this is the syllabus and relevance in the exam. In prelims you are getting around 30 questions, in mains you are getting around 30 marks and 40 marks. Now one thing, in science and tech, there is benefit both in prelims as well as in mains exam. Why it is beneficial, we will see that thing. In case of polity, in case of like economy, or in case of history, you have a lot of things which you have to cover. Polity seems to be very simple, but it is very complex. Questions of polity are from a defined range, but writing them is a major challenge. Same goes with economy, same goes with history. Geography is also a technical subject, so it becomes easier. In UPSC, there is a simple rule. The one thing which is simple, like the subject which seems to be simple, is actually tough in the exam, and the subject which is technical is actually simpler in the exam. Like if you see geography also, you will find that if they are asking 10 questions from geography in prelims, 8 of them are easily solvable. You can easily solve 8 out of 10 questions. Same goes with the subject of science and technology. If you are getting 15 questions in prelims exam, even if 2 questions are random, then also you can solve minimum 13 questions. This year also around 14-15 questions have been there in 2025 prelims. And we will see them also today itself, like how the questions have been framed, how we can answer them. These things we will see here. So this is one part. It is a technical subject. This is a technical subject, but in actual it is simple in exam. That is one beauty of the exam. And not only in prelims, in mains also. Let me explain how. In all the subjects like history, economy, or even some cases in environment, in polity also, governance also, you will find multiple keywords. Like when you have to write answer, you are often getting confused and critically comment, critically discuss, analyze, contextualize, give an account for. Multiple things are there. In science and technology, what is the nature of question? Let me show you how they ask the question. In UPSC mains, you will find that they are asking questions like this. For example, see here, just one second, 2024. What is the present world scenario of intellectual property right, okay, with respect to life materials? India is second in world to file patents, still only a few have been commercialized. Explain the reasons behind this less commercialization. So there is a simple thing. What is the level of patents in India? Explain the reasons behind this less commercialization. They are giving you a direct question. There is no such like comment, discuss, critically analyze, or anything like that. Question is straightforward, answer also has to be straightforward. See the second question. What is the technology being employed for electronic toll collection? What are its advantages and limitation? What are the proposed changes? Means it is that class 10th, 12th level question in terms of what, why, where, when. They are not like taking this to the next level where you have to discuss, analyze, or anything. It is simple, straightforward question. Advantages, limitations, status, etc. No analysis, only the facts you have to present there. Only the regions, only the causes, limitations, these are the things which you have to tell there. So that is one beauty part of it. Now see, even after this, what do you see? In GS paper 3, here we have 4 subjects mainly. One is economy, then we have science, then we have environment, and internal security plus disaster management. 5. These are the 5 topics. What is the marks of toppers in GS paper 3? 85, 90. This is the like maximum marks. In GS paper 1, they still touch like 100. In GS paper 4, you can reach 120. In GS paper 2 also, you can be near about 100. But this is one part where you will get 80 to 85. Why this challenge? There are multiple factors behind it. Like one of the factor is, see the subjects, economy. It is going to be very much factual because you have to put in a lot of data, you have to put in a lot of schemes, examples, everything. Environment, again you need data and all other related things. Internal security, again you need the mention of different laws, you need the mention of different like data with respect to different like maybe Naxalite movements in India, or smuggling of drugs, or any other thing, or even cyber security. Then all these things you need to substantiate your answer with facts, data, and all other things. Okay. And in between that, you have one such ray of hope, that is science and tech. Here you don't have to give the facts and data that much. Here you have to simply put out some of the examples plus the normal arguments. They're asking you the reasons behind limited adoption or limited commercialization. So in this case, science is one such option where you have to write a simple answer to technical question, and in that you will get answer. Maths optional is considered as scoring. Why? There is no keyword. There is no keyword in maths optional. So this is one part, that any such technical subject, if you have grasp over it, if you know like how to write it, if you understand the subject, it is going to give you marks. Because UPSC will not raise its level in science and tech. Why they are not going to do so? Everyone is not from the science background. Many people who are appearing in UPSC, they are from humanities background, they are from law, they are from management, they are from different segments. So UPSC is not going to change this pattern. In science and tech, they are going to ask like this. And why they are doing so, let me show you the syllabus part. When we talk about the main syllabus, see, the first part is saying science and technology, development and their applications and effect in everyday life. The major focus is on application of science and technology in day-to-day life. Somewhat focus on development, then application and their day-to-day life uses. Then you will see this, achievements of Indians in science and tech, indigenization of technology and developing new technology. Now in the terms of achievements, it's not that we have got like so many personalities. We have hardly 10 or 15 such achievers from science and tech in India. Means achievers means those who have gone to a very high level, who have contributed significantly to the space program or science and technology in India. So we have a limited list. So this is one part. Third is indigenization of technology and developing new technology. Here also, due to lesser effort on research and development, we have lesser indigenization of technology. We have been reading this since a very long time, that we are not focusing on research and development. When we are not focusing on research and development, there is lesser indigenization also. So syllabus is small. Okay. So that is one benefit from the government. If government is not focusing on research and development, you have lesser syllabus. Okay. That is one part. Then here, it is the syllabus in actual sense. The third part is your actual syllabus. The third part is saying awareness in the field of information technology, not income tax. That comes under economy. Okay. It is information technology. Then space, computer, robotics, nanotechnology, bio, and issues related to intellectual property rights. These are the 7-8 dimensions which you actually have to read. These are the 8 dimensions which you actually have to read for your science and tech syllabus. And even though in prelims they are mentioning general science, this is what you also have to read for the prelims. So they have mentioned general science, but general science means all of these things. They are all part of general science. So don't go by the word. If you go by the word of UPSC prelim syllabus, it is 6 lines. In 6 lines, your entire prelim syllabus is covered. But if you actually go into the prelims exam, then you will find that 6 books, they are not sufficient. Even 6 books are not sufficient to cover your prelims exam. So that is one thing about the syllabus of UPSC science, general science plus science and technology. Now, we have seen the mains question, how they are asking it. Now, another part, prelims question of 2025. And first I will take question from general science. Last year also, in the previous batches, we have been repeatedly talking about one such topic, and that is rare earth elements and critical minerals. We have discussed it many times in current affairs also, in general science also, in other classes also, even in the crash course which was there. So we have discussed about this topic multiple times because it was supposed to come here. Okay? It was already asked in mains exam and it was due for the prelims part. So here we have seen there was a question about rare earth elements also, and there was one statement in one of the question about critical minerals also. So there was question on both rare earth elements and critical minerals. So this is one part. See. Second thing, look at this one. Like this was the easiest question. That how many of them are important or how many of them are encouraging. Okay. See how the question has been framed. How you have to take the broader option. It is not saying how many of them are actually doing the microgravity research. Question is asking how many of the space missions given above encourage and support microgravity research. It is not that are they actually doing microgravity research or not. The question is asking how many of them are encouraging. Like it is encouraging this microgravity research or not. Microgravity research means the one which is carried out in the space in very little gravitational condition. So easily you can understand that all these things, what was a SPEDX? The SPEDX was an experiment where in a very little gravity we were trying to combine two different spacecraft. So was it related to microgravity or not? What is our future plan? Future plan is to have Bharatiya Antariksh Station. So is it encouraging or not? So whether it is Axiom 4 mission, SPEDX or the Gaganyaan. Gaganyaan is itself a space mission. Okay. So all these things are encouraging and supporting microgravity research. Question is not about whether they have actually conducted or not. Question is saying that are they encouraging and supporting this or not. So this is one way of asking question by UPSC. Then see, this was one of the most challenging question. Why most challenging? Normally in defense, what do you read about? Even in current affairs, what do you read about? Indian exercises or Indian aircrafts? Let's say there was Operation Sindoor also in the month of May. Then also you may have read about the Akash Tir system, you may have read about BrahMos, you may have read about S-400 system, you may have read about other things. So what we see that there was not any such question from Indian spacecraft or other things. Like they have gone international on this. Let's internationalize this topic. So they have asked about multiple such international aircraft or international defense equipment. So this was the challenging part. Now what is the mistake? The mistake is after this for the next 1 year, many of the students will start focusing on revising all the defense equipments of the entire world. We will start doing this one part that next time if US is doing some defense research, you will go into that. Israel is doing something, you will read that also. If Russia has come with something, you will go into that also. The entire world is developing some weapons. How many you are going to read? Like even if you take one weapon per country, there are at least 20 active countries if we count North Korea also. Yes. So if we are counting them, there are at least 20 countries having 5 defense equipments. We are in total getting the facts on 100 of defense equipments, and next year there won't be a question. Next year they are not going to ask from here. Every year they will give you one such trap question so that next time when you are coming for exam, you are trapped in that part. You keep on revising those things which will not be relevant next year. Okay. So this is one such question. You have to simply skip it. You have to give it full respect and then skip this part. Okay. Then this was one of the easy questions. Delhi is going to have the artificial rain. So those who are in Delhi, you have an official responsibility that you have to know what chemicals are going to be used in case of artificial rain. It is your civic duty, so you have to do that. Okay. Even though you are a migrant from other state, still you have to do that. Okay. Now, then this was question 1, Gagan Navik, traditional question. This is always there. Okay. So Gagan and Navik, it can always be expected. There was question on this one current affairs. See, AI Action Summit held in Grand Palace, Paris in Feb 2025. Why this question was there? See, you have to understand one context. Why they have specifically asked about this summit. This was the first time that India has participated in any AI summit of global level. This was for the first time that India has participated in this. Okay. Prior to this, India has been avoiding the global AI summits. We have not been taking part on that. But this time, on the request of France, and plus we also have to make a deal about like M. Rafael. We were doing a deal also with respect to M. Rafael during the same time. So during that time, Indian Prime Minister attended this summit in France. So this was one of the reasons why question was there on this AIXN summit. First time ever India's participation was there. Then this one question, again a quite easy question. What question they are asking? How many of them are alternative powertrain vehicles? Alternative powertrain means those who are using alternative engines. So you have simply one thing: diesel, petrol, CNG in conventional. Any other electric which is coming, it is going to be alternative. They are asking full battery electric vehicle. See, why they are saying alternative powertrain? There is one traditional engine, the ignition engines which you have in most of the vehicles. Okay. They are like using fossil fuel or CNG or other things. Then they are generating electricity, and then using that they are running the vehicles. That is the normal ignition engine. Then we have new quality engines which are directly running on electricity. Like we have full electric vehicle. In full electric vehicle, you will not hear the sound of the engine. Why? Because engine is not moving. There is no such moving engine inside it. In case of fuel cell vehicle also, there is no such moving engine. It is direct energy conversion to electricity without any moving engine part. In case of fuel cell electric hybrid vehicle, again same thing, different name. Okay. Fuel cell is again hydrogen based fuel cell, and here also we are having same, without moving parts we have the engine which is going on. So this is one thing, like how many of them are alternatives. So they are not simply asking that how many of them are not using the ignition engines. They have given a different name only. That how many of them are using alternative powertrain, okay. Alternative powertrain vehicles. How many of them are alternative? Okay. So there is one of the pattern of UPSC. Even in simple questions, they are using some of the technical words so that you might get confused a little bit. Okay. It is all about that which is different engine. Instead of asking about the engine, they have given alternative powertrain vehicle. So that is one change which was done by UPSC. Okay. Now in Hindi also they have do the same thing. They have not given the Hindi meaning of powertrain. Why? Because if they have given Hindi meaning of powertrain, then it would have become very much easy. Okay. So that's why they have used the English word here. So UPSC is also playing with that trick. That even if you are looking at Hindi, you will not get the answer. So then this was the easiest, and this is the one new pattern. This is the easiest question. In the past, you may have seen one thing, that there was a question on some microorganisms can live here, some microorganisms can live in acidic movement. Some of them can also live in like a very high temperature. There have been a question like this in the past also. And this year what they have done, all type of UAVs can do vertical landing. All types of UAVs can do vertical landing. So it is already giving an extreme statement that all types. Second is saying all types of UAVs can do automated hovering. In this case, you have a simple example. I think by now you may have attended at least one such wedding where drones were used for taking the images. Nowadays, this is a new trend. Okay. And in all those weddings, you may have seen that there is a person who is the drone operator. Okay. So if he leaves that device, can it do automatic hovering? It will fall down immediately. Okay. So there we know that it cannot do the automated hovering over any place. It needs some support. Okay. It needs to be done in a manual manner in some of the cases. In some of the advanced UAVs, in some of advanced drones, they can go for automated hovering. And third is saying, can use battery only as a source of power supply. So here also you can see that it is an extreme statement. This easy question was there, but many people have gone for wrong answer of this. Okay. This was one such easy question, because you don't have to like read it in any of the book. In no book, in no copy, in no notes, you will find this. This is based on common sense. That can UAVs do this? Can drones do this? Okay. So this is one such question which was there in exam this year. And it was again one of the tough question. Why? Again the trap question. The question was asking this: how many of the above are used in battery cathodes? Like next time what people will be doing, they will be reading about all the anode, all the cathode, all the solutions. Don't do that. If UPSC is asking 2 questions out of 15 in this manner, leave those 2 questions, prepare the 13. You will still get 26 marks. But if you start preparing for these 2 questions, like the one of international defense equipments and one of this, that what chemical is used there, you will not be able to prepare the remaining 13. So skip these questions whenever you get it. All subjects combined together, you will hardly get 10 questions like this out of 100. All subjects combined together. So even if you are solving 90 questions, or even if you are looking at 90 questions, I think it is more than sufficient. In any case, if you have solved 70 questions and you have marked 30 questions wrong also, still you are in the list. Okay. 70 question means 140 marks, 30 incorrect means 20 marks will be deducted. 140 minus 120. So in any case, if you have solved 70 questions, even if you have marked 30 wrong, then also you don't have to worry. So the day you are prepared for 70 questions correctly, your prelims is clear. In no case you will find that the cutoff is crossing 120. The highest cutoff till date is 116 in 2016. Okay. That was the highest cutoff ever. Okay. After the new pattern, that was the highest cutoff. And why 116? Because that year they have asked which ministry has launched this scheme. If I give question like that to you, you will be scoring more than 150 out of 200. Okay. So in 2016, there were questions like this: which ministry has launched a particular scheme? And I think by reading 4 or 5 times current affairs, you know that much at least. Okay. That's why in 2016, the cutoff was like 116. After that, it came back to 105, 99, 97. Then it went back to 75. Okay. Again, we are seeing a somewhat revival, that it is coming near 80, 85, 87, maybe up to 90. But if you are here up to 120, you don't have to worry about it. You don't even have to check the cutoff, or you don't have to check even the answer key. You can start preparing for your mains from the next day onwards. So work for 70 questions, not even 90. The moment you have prepared 70 questions, your prelims is clear. And then you can focus rest of your energy on the mains. Now, what we generally see, that some people are so much dedicated to prelims that they give around 1 year for prelims preparation. They get 140 marks in prelims. But when it comes to mains, now you have got 70-75 days for mains. In 70-75 days, you cannot even cover the optional. Leave the GS paper. Even if you are reading continuously 6 hours optional daily, then also in 75 days, you will not be able to cover the optional. So don't wait for like when I will clear prelims, then I will prepare for mains. Prepare mains in the present time and then prepare the prelims part. Or you can prepare them simultaneously. But you cannot leave the mains that once I clear prelims, I am so much good in answer writing. First day I will get 12 marks out of 15. Okay. You will not get 12 out of 15. If you see the score in GS paper 3 is like, let's say 90. So it means in 20 question, what is the average score? 4.5. Okay. There are certain 10 marks question, there are certain 15 marks question. So on an average, if you see, Even if you are getting like 5 marks in each, you are getting around 50 marks in 10 markers and plus 4 marks in 40 marks in 10 markers, 15 in 50 markers. So that is the maximum score. If you are thinking that on the first day you are going to get 10 marks out of 15, it is not going to be possible. The toppers have got this marks. Like out of 15, they are not able to score 5 marks. So think about this, that what needs to be done first. You have to prepare for the mains before the prelims. Now, this is the question part and that is the syllabus part. Now, what we are going to cover, how we are going to read the different topics. This is the first portion. This is the first portion which we are going to see: cell and basics, kingdom classification, human body, diseases and drugs, forces of nature, universe, electricity, magnetism, sound and light, common chemistry and chemistry news. Okay. This year there was 2 questions and that was only from this. Right? The things which we have reading about like general science in the past also. If you have seen any of our previous classes, we have discussed about viruses also. This time there was a question on virus also. Virus we have also discussed in our general science classes. We have discussed rare earth elements also, critical minerals also. So in our general science also, in previous sessions also, we have discussed all these topics. This year 3 questions from general science. All of them we have covered in previous classes. Okay. So this is one part. Here in general science also, we will read those relevant terms from where questions will be asked. Okay. And then in the science and tech section, this is our portion: biotechnology and related things, space tech, information, defense, nano, energy, intellectual property and new concepts. These are the topics which we are going to discuss. I hope that is clear. Yeah. Those who are in online, I hope you get this idea that what is our syllabus, what is our question pattern, what we are going to study. There is one question that are we going to focus on prelims or mains? We are going to focus on both. Okay. Initially the general science will be more what related to prelims part, and then we will come to this section. When we will come to this section, it will focus mainly on mains portion. There is one more question. I think many of you will be asking this question, that what about the source? What you have to read, like where you have to get the source of science and tech. So there is one simple thing: no source. Okay. There is one simple thing: there is no source of science and tech. Okay. Why? See the question pattern. It is the most dynamic paper. So there is only one source, that is class notes plus the current affairs. Class notes plus the current affairs. Now see this one part. Even when we are like discussing about the science and tech, see one thing. In UPSC exam, when question was from current affairs, a few questions out of 15, a few questions were like directly from the current affairs. Like the one about Paris summit. That was one direct question from current affairs. All other questions which seems to be of current affairs are basically subject related current affairs. It is not that you have to entirely read just the current affairs only. Like if there is any summit, there will be question only from that. If questions are coming from science and tech or other sections, it is not like just by reading the current affairs you can get it. You have to first get the concept about it and then the related things. So that's why I'm saying there is no source of science and tech. If you are reading books, you will get knowledge, not the exam. Okay. You will get knowledge about the subject. You will get to know that yes, science and tech is very good. There are so many interesting things in the world. Okay. There is so many things in the world which are very much fascinating. But in the exams, questions will not come from there. Okay. That is why focus on the class notes. That will be sufficient. For mains also, it will be sufficient. Why? when we will discuss, like suppose when we are discussing the artificial intelligence, we will not simply discuss that what is artificial intelligence, how it is useful for us. We are going to discuss how AI is going to help in agriculture in India, how AI is going to help in health sector in India. The topic is not AI and its uses. Topic is AI in agriculture, its uses, limitations and schemes. AI in health, its applications, its challenges and schemes. It is not simply AI, opportunities, challenges and a scheme. That is a superficial reading. When we talk about AI for exam, it is going to be AI in health, then AI in like agriculture and all other things. It is individual topics. It is not a broad topic, just AI. We will see each and every subject wise topic, theme wise topic. Then you prepare for the mains. Like just to give you an idea, in 2023, there was a question in Science and Tech about this AI. Okay. Introduce the concept of artificial intelligence. How does AI help in clinical diagnosis? It is not saying how AI is useful. It is asking how AI is helping in clinical diagnosis, and do you perceive any threat to the privacy of individual in the use of AI in healthcare? Not simply like what are the challenges of AI, what are the challenges or privacy issues due to AI in healthcare. It is not a general question. Normally when we prepare for AI, we prepare the superficial part, that what is the benefit of AI, what is the challenge of AI. But when we talk about subject, when we talk about Science and Tech, we will see it individually. In 2023 also, before the examination, I was taking one of the class for Science and Tech, and there we have discussed AI in different sectors like AI in health, AI in education, AI in governance, AI in agriculture, AI in defense, AI in different sectors. And then one of the question was asked which was only about AI in healthcare. So I discussed around 10 topics of AI. From there, one topic was taken, that was AI in healthcare. So this is how question is getting in the examination. This is how they are asking questions in exam. So this is like AI superficial reading will not do. When we talk about mains, we will discuss about AI in detail in each and every segment. Like in agriculture, from the sowing to the harvesting to the market condition, what is use of AI at different level, this is what we have to see. Okay. So that's why I have said just focus on class notes, that will be sufficient. Okay. Now, any other question from this part, syllabus, questions or anything? Course. Anyone from online who have any question from these portions, syllabus part, course part, previous question? Okay. How many lectures? I will count and then I will tell. Okay. It will roughly take around like 10 lectures, that is average for general science, 10 to 12, and for Science and Tech like a little bit more, like 30 sessions approximately. Okay. So that will be one part, 25 to 30 sessions, because we are going in detail, not just superficial reading, which will not be useful. If I am giving you Science and Tech notes, you will use it for 26 also, 27 also, and somewhat for 28 also. Okay. And like for 3 years, there should be relevance of the notes. After that, it will expire, because Science and Tech is evolving thing. Okay. After that, it is going to expire, but for 3 years, it will be valid. Okay. So let us start with the first part, general science. And here we are going to start with this one topic, cell. Okay. So I'm not going to tell you about the father of biology. I think you know that in class 9th or 10th you have to read that. Who is the father of biology? No idea. So if you have no idea, read about it. Okay. It will not be asked in exam, so we are not discussing it. Okay. family structure you can see about bio, science, physics, about Newton, Einstein. These things we don't have to read. Okay. We don't have to read any formula. We don't have to solve any equations. We don't have to like prove any theory. That is one good part of science and tech, that you don't have to go in the technical detail. Like generally when we read about this, even if we are talking about quantum technology, we will see the few things, like we will talk about quantum superposition, we will talk about quantum entanglement in simple words. We will not go into this part that Schrodinger wave equation, solve it and then give the all the parts of quantum equation. So we are not going into that Schrodinger equation and everything. We are not going into the relativity theory of Einstein, that what is general relativity, what is special relativity. Although these are very interesting things. If you read them, anyone from physics? No. Acha, you are from physics. Anyone else? In graduation, anyone from physics? Bio? So those who are from bio, expect some questions. Okay. Anyone from chemistry? Chemistry? Anyone from biotech in class 12 who have taken biotechnology in class 12? No. कोई बात नहीं. Now no one will speak. Okay. Everyone from history? Which subject you have taken in graduation? Psychology? No. Okay, fine. Arts. I will ask question about drawing. So let's start with this one part. We are going to see about the cell, and first let me give you what are the topics which may be relevant for the exam. Okay. First thing we will try to understand. First thing is, of course, what is cell. We will try to understand what are the components of the cell. Then we will try to see the classification of cell. And this is going to be the actual part from where you can get the questions. There will be classification of cell like prokaryotic and eukaryotic, plant and animal. Then we are also going to talk about somatic and stem cell. This is one such area from where you will be getting maximum questions in the exam. If you are getting any question from cell, this is the area from where you will get the question in exam. Cell, components and their classification. So this is one part. Now, in this section, in the components, we have to talk about a number of topics like what is the powerhouse and everything which you have read in class 9th, 10th. So we will talk about this. Can we start now with the cell part? For the notes part, I will be dictating. You can take the notes. Like I will explain, I will dictate. You can write it point by point. That will be sufficient. Wherever there will be requirement of any diagram, I will make it on the board. You can copy it from there. Okay. So let us start with the cell. Cell is called as simply, first try to understand this part. Cell is simply called as the structural and functional unit of the life. Okay. It is called as the structural part, the functional part of the life. It is also called as the self-sustaining unit of life also. So let us try to understand the meaning of these things, that why it is called as structural part, why it is called as the functional part, and why it is also called as self-sustaining. If we look at any organism, from microorganisms to even dinosaurs when they existed, If we talk about all these organisms, either they are made of just cell or they are made up of some tissues, some organs, organ system, or combination of organ system. But in the basics of all these things, there is always a cell. Life started with a cell, and life also terminates with the end of the cell. When people die naturally, when there is a natural death of any person or any organism, it is because the cells are no longer able to work. When there is aging of the cell, when there is no longer their ability to divide or to continue to work, then there is the natural death of the person or the organism. Okay. So cell is responsible for the formation of life. Cell is responsible for the death or termination of the life. Even if we look at humans also, or any organism, even if a new child is developing, it starts with a cell. It also starts with one cell only. So this entire life, it is formed because of cell. Whether it is large organisms like humans, elephant, lions, or any other, or it is small organisms like bacteria. So these all are coming simply from the cell. Without cell, there is no existence. If there is cell, then only there is life. Without cell, there is no life. That's why viruses are not considered as living. Viruses are not considered as living because they don't have a cell. If they don't have a cell, it means they have nothing. So that's why viruses are not considered as living organism. So this is one part, why cell is important. They are forming the entire structure. Cell will form the tissue. The tissues will combine together to form the organs. Organs will form the organ system, and organ system will work together for the working of the body. So this is one segment, why cell is called as a structural part. Now, why it is called as functional part? How do we get the energy? Like suppose I am speaking something right now. You are listening to me. I hope so. Okay. You are also thinking about certain things. Okay. You are also thinking about like what is cell or the related concepts. Okay. Or maybe you are thinking something else also. In all these cases, even if you are simply present here, just because you are there, you are using some energy. Even when you are sleeping, then also you are using some energy. There is always a requirement of energy. Now, how do we get that energy? From where in our body we get that energy? Each and every part of the body gets their own energy with the help of the cell which they are having. It means, suppose if I am speaking also, then speaking, all the vibrations which are there in the larynx part, for that vibration, the cells will be manufacturing their own energy. The sound is created due to movement of air from our larynx. So this sound, this air which is coming, it is being pumped by the lungs. In the lungs, there is a smaller, like a balloon-like structure, a smaller sac, which is simply called as alveoli. So these cells will be pumping the oxygen out, pumping the air out of the body, which will cause vibration in the larynx, and finally we will get the sound. When you are hearing this sound, the vibrations are reaching into your eardrum. These vibrations are getting converted into electric signals. The nerve cells are carrying these electric signals to your brain, where neurons are transmitting it in different forms. In all these processes, there are different cells which are working. Our ear altogether is not working. Some portions of ear, some cells of ears are working. From there, the neurons, which are basic cells of our body, they are carrying the information. The information is also being processed by some neuron cells in our brain. So each and every work of the body, whether it is transmitting the information, receiving the information, or even generating some output, it is done by individual cells. the energy making is also done by individual cells. So although we say that heart is responsible for pumping of the blood, it is the collective effort of all the cells in the heart which are responsible for pumping the blood. It is not the heart as an organ, it is the cells inside the heart which work in a rhythm. See this one part also. The cells are working in a rhythm so that they are generating a coordinated effort to pump the blood. So you can see they are not just working, they have a good coordination also. They have a very good coordination also. When you are trying to lift your hand also, think about this, all the cells which are involved there, all of them are working together to give you that desired output. When you are listening to it also, all your neurons, the nerve cells, they are working together. The receptor cells in your ears, they are working together to do this work. So they work in a rhythm. That's why cell is the functional part of the life. It is not the organs, it is the cell which is actually working. So that's why it is also called as the functional part of the body. Now it is also called as self-sustaining. The cell is not dependent on others. They manufacture their own food, they transform their own food. Manufacturing means they get the raw material from outside. From that raw material, they are converting it into energy inside themselves. They are also making their own proteins, they are making their own enzymes, they are making their all chemical reactions by themselves. When they think that they have become old enough, they kill themselves. The cells are a complete unit. From their birth to their death, all activities of cell are regulated by themselves. They regulate all the things, their entire life process. That is being regulated by themselves. They are not dependent on anyone. If they are damaged, they can work together to repair. If they are damaged, they will repair themselves. If they think they are beyond repair, they will not wait for any doctor. They will kill themselves. So they have also facility of killing themselves as well. So that's why they are complete in that sense. They are self-sustaining units. They can sustain by themselves. So that is first part, why they are structural, why they are functional, why they are self-sustaining. So again, just repeating this one part, why a structure? Cells will form tissues. Tissues will form organs. Organs will form organ system, and organ system will form the body. In unicellular also, it is the cell which forms the structure. In multicellular also, it is the cell which will form the structure. So from humans to bacteria, everything comes from the cell. Cell is responsible for all the structure of the body. If we talk about function, like in bacteria, you know that there is one cell that will do all the activity. In bacteria, there is one cell that is doing all the activity. But even in large organisms, like when we talk about humans also, it's not that we are working something or we are doing something. The cells are working in a coordinated manner. Like right now, if you are doing anything, it is the cell of your body which is actually doing that work. And then their coordinated effort, the rhythmic work is going to give you that desired output. So they are doing the function also. The work of thinking, it is done by our cell. The work of releasing energy, it is done by our cell. The process of digestion, it is done by our cells. All these works are done by the cell itself. Okay. The growth of the body is dependent upon the cell. So each and every work of the body is being done by the cell, hence it is called as functional part of the body. And self-sustaining because it can sustain on its own. It can survive on its own. And when it is not able to survive, it can finish itself. So it is doing its own energy making process. It is making its own protein. It is doing its own like reproduction also. It is cleaning its own waste material also. All these works are done by the cell itself. So that's why it is called as a structural, functional and self-sustaining unit of life. So write first thing about it. Give the heading cell. In that, write one thing. First thing, cell is a structural and functional unit of life. Cell is a structural and functional unit of life. It is also self-sustaining. It is also self-sustaining. Now give a small subheading, structural. Give a first subheading, structural unit. Give the first subheading, structural unit. Write in this. Cell is considered structural unit. Cell is considered a structural unit as, then give like a portion, a small part, first a point. In unicellular organism, here you have written cell is considered as a structural unit. After that, first point, in unicellular organism, in unicellular organisms, cell forms the structure of the organism. Cell forms the structure of the organism, like bacteria, Okay. You can also like write paramecium, euglena, diatoms, anything. Okay. Bacteria, diatoms, dinoflagellates. Example. Okay. In example, you can write bacteria, diatoms, dinoflagellates. Second point, B option, B point. In multicellular organism, cells combine to form tissues. Tissues combine to form organs combine to form organ systems, which ultimately forms the individuals. In multicellular organisms, cells combine to form tissues. Tissues combine to form organs. Organs combine to form organ systems, which ultimately give rise to individuals, or which ultimately forms individuals. So this is first part, a structural part. Second thing, functional. Second part, functional unit. Cell is considered functional unit of life. Cell is considered functional unit of life because, first point again, A, in unicellular organisms, all the work is being performed all the work is being performed by a single cell. In unicellular organism, all the work is being performed by a single cell. B point. In multicellular organisms, there are specialized cells. To perform various activities of the body. Example, white blood cells, immunity, germ cells, reproduction, neurons for processing information. Although many work is there, one part is for processing information. So here we have seen that all the works of the body is done by the specialized cells. So this is the second part. Third part, self-sustaining unit. Self-sustaining unit. Third portion, self-sustaining unit. Here you can write the cells can grow and reproduce by themselves. The cells can grow and reproduce by themselves. They make their own energy. They make their own energy. And in adverse conditions, they are able to kill themselves. And they are able, in adverse condition, they are able to kill themselves. There is one question that as they kill themselves, so it means they generate new ones. Then how ending cell leads to death of human? No, there is one part, reproduction of cell. Cell can divide to form new cells. That is the reproduction part. Killing of cell means that it is simply that they will terminate their life. After that, no new cell will be formed from that cell which is dead. So that is the killing of themselves. And killing of one cell doesn't mean that the humans will die. When all the cells have become aged, when their capacity to divide has become limited or is at the end, and when they are no longer able to function, then there is natural death of any organism. When they have become too much, like you can say, tired, when they have become too much tired, then they will stop working, and one day all of them will start to stop working, and that day will be the death, the natural death of any person. But you don't have to worry about it, because when you are living in some cities, you will not have a natural death. Okay. There are so many things which can help you before that, like pollution, polluted air, polluted water, so many diseases, COVID pandemic. So you don't have to worry about the cells working or stopping together. Okay. There are so many other factors which can help. Okay. So that is like first part, why they are called as the structural, functional and self-sustaining. Now coming to this one section, the components of the cell. In any case, in any cell, there are certain basic things which have to be present there, without which cell cannot exist. There are three basic components which makes a cell. Without them, there is no cell. In all the cases, from prokaryotic to eukaryotic, in all the cells, there is a requirement of three basic things. One of them is called as plasma membrane. One of them is called as cytoplasm. And third one is called as genetic material. These are the three basic requirements of any cell. If there is any cell which is not having these three things, it means they are not live. It means they are not simply present. There is going to be genetic material inside them in one form or other. There is going to be presence of cytoplasm in them. There is going to be form of plasma membrane. If it is not there, they cannot be self-sustaining, they cannot be structural, they cannot be functional. In short, they will not be called as cell. In case of virus, we have the genetic material. It can be in form of DNA, it can be in form of RNA. But they are not having cytoplasm and they are not having plasma membrane. So viruses are not considered as living organism or living cell because they lack plasma membrane, they lack cytoplasm. They have one basic thing, that is genetic material. So this is one basic definition of any cell. If a living cell is there, it must be having three things. One is the part of genetic material. It can be in any form. Then the inside portion, which is the cytoplasm. This is the genetic material, and this outer boundary, which is called as the plasma membrane. So this is the basic requirement. Without this, there is no cell. Without this, there is no cell. When life started first, when did it start? Any idea? When we had the beginning of life? When there was beginning of earth? 4.6 billion years ago, we have seen the suns were formed. Nearly at the same time, earth and other planets were also formed, near about 4.6 billion years ago. Now what we see that the beginning of life, it may have been there around 3.8 billion years ago. There are multiple deadlines for this. People believe that from 2.5 to 3.8 billion, this is the timeline in which life may have evolved. So evolution of life was from this point. And how did the life form? Like how the first life may have originated. I am not asking where. I am asking how the first life may have existed. First time a living organism developed, how did it came into being? How did they got the life? And what is life? Let's go into philosophy part. What is life? How did it all start? Life is believed to be a collection, to be a combination of chemical reactions. Entire life is built around some chemical reactions which are going on. See, in your day-to-day activities, each and everything which you are doing is basically a chemical reaction. Suppose you are eating something that is going to be digested. That digestion is a chemical process. In order to do so, you need the energy. Energy comes through the process of metabolism, which is again a chemical reaction. In doing all these things, you need enzymes, you need hormones. Enzymes and hormones are what? Chemical reactions. You need carbohydrates, you need fats, vitamins, you need all these elements, all these minerals. What are they? They are chemical products as a result of chemical reaction. DNA is what? It is just a chemical product, a chemical substance. RNA is what? Chemical substance. Protein is what? Chemical substance. The entire life is what chemistry is. Okay. Entire life is chemistry. So from the beginning of all the reactions to the end of it, it is all about chemistry. So if you understand chemistry, you understand life. Okay. So if you have missed chemistry in graduation, you have missed understanding of the life. Okay. Want to understand life? Go to read chemistry. Go and read chemistry. Okay. So it is believed that initially some of the substances combined together, they formed some structures in the form of proteins. Proteins combined together to form what we simply know as the DNA or RNA. The RNA and DNA, they are what? They are simply a combination. They are simply a chain, a long chain of proteins. Basically, they are genes, and genes are what? Genes are proteins. So a combination of proteins led to formation of DNA and RNA. And these chemicals started to accumulate some other chemicals in their vicinity, which formed the cytoplasm. And this cytoplasm also led to formation of a boundary around it, which was in the form of plasma membrane. So beginning of life is just all about a chemical reaction. Even today, all the processes in our body is just what a chemical reaction is. When you eat a medicine, that is also going to induce a chemical reaction. If you have a pain, like suppose you are having headache or you are not having headache, it is all because of chemical reaction. You are having any type of problem in body, it is all about chemical reaction. You are doing any work, it is chemical reaction. You are getting energy, chemical reaction. You are speaking, chemical reaction. Listening, chemical reaction. Okay. Basically, the entire body is chemical reaction. So we believe that initially some elements, some minerals combined together to form the genetic material. This genetic material led to accumulation of certain substances around it, like some amount of water around it, some amount of other amino acids, other proteins around it. This formed the second layer, cytoplasm. And then after, a boundary was created which separated it from the nearby elements. Now this formed a unit. This formed a unit which we recognize as a cell. So cell is just a unit where some chemical reactions are taking place. So it is just a unit where chemical reactions are taking place. So that's why for existence of a cell, these three things are required. Because if there is no plasma membrane, then cytoplasm may get spread over large areas. Then there will be no unit. And if there is plasma membrane, but inside the plasma membrane there is no cytoplasm, so what will genetic material do by themselves? Nothing. They cannot do anything just by themselves. They need certain things in vicinity of that, and that is basically cytoplasm, the source of all those things, the source of amino acid, the source of proteins, the source of all chemicals and everything. Even water which is there, water is what? Chemical. Each and everything we see, what is that? That is chemical. Okay. So this entire life starts from these three things: plasma, cytoplasm, genetic material. Next time someone asks you, what is life? A chemical reaction. When the chemical reaction stops, that is the end of the life. When chemical reaction starts, that is the beginning of life. Okay. Don't say it in front of many people. Nowadays, the sentiments of people are easily getting affected. Okay. Don't say it in front of anyone else. Write it only in exam. Okay. Otherwise, it will be a challenge for you. Okay. So this is one part. Now we will talk about them separately. That what is this plasma membrane, what is this cytoplasm, and what is this genetic material. So let us start first with the first one, genetic material. Okay. We will see, we will write about them. Let us first understand it. Genetic material. When we talk about genetic material, it is considered as the brain, the main, like when you see a computer, it has a CPU. CPU is the brain of that entire system. In same manner, the CPU of the life, the brain of the life is this genetic material. They are responsible, or they are the boss of the entire cell. They are the commanding authority of the entire cell. Without their order, without their directive, without their guidance, nothing takes place in the cell. So they are the boss. Okay. So when we talk about genetic material, it consists mainly of one thing called as DNA, another thing called as RNA, and a number of proteins and amino acids. Proteins and amino acids. So that is all our genetic material. It is the DNA, RNA, and proteins plus amino acids combined together. They form the genetic structure or genetic material of any organism. Now, what is the relevance of them? What is the use of them? We will first try to understand it. So, what is their use? Just see here, we have just seen how the life has started. It has started because of some chemical reaction. Who commanded it? Genetic material. So, genetic material is the one who commands the development of the cell. This one is the commanding authority, which commands the beginning of a cell. If a cell is getting formed, if cytoplasm is there, if plasma membrane is there, if anything is there, it is just because of this genetic material. It gives the command that we have to start it. In the beginning also, it was the boss. Today also, it is the boss. Okay. So it is like the dictator. It is the dictator of the cell, everything. There is no democracy over there. Okay. It is all anarchy there. Whatever DNA says, whatever genetic material says, it is going to take place. Okay. So this is one part. It is the commanding authority of the entire cell. Now, when we talk about this genetic material, one thing is it commands the cell. Second thing is it is also considered as the blueprint of the life. It is also called as the blueprint of the life. Now, why the word blueprint? You may have seen multiple movies or multiple series in which when someone has to do the robbery also, or when you have to do some evacuation also, what do you need? Blueprint of the building. Means you need the information about the structure of any building. So when we say the blueprint, it means it is giving the structure of the body. It is telling that what will be the type of the cell, what will be the shape and size of the cell, what all things are going to be present inside the cell. So that's why it is called as the blueprint of the cell. Every information about the cell, every information is going to be there in the blueprint. Like how the cell will evolve, what will be the shape, what will be the size, what will be the role, how it will be carrying out different functions. All these things are mentioned in there. It is also the memory drive. It is also this memory drive of the cell. How the memory drive? Earlier, you may have, today is World Chimpanzee Day. Okay. 14th of July is celebrated as World Chimpanzees Day. Okay. Chimpanzees are the ancestors of humans. Okay. So you should at least wish them happy birthday. Okay. So after going from the class, you can wish them on Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, wherever you want to. You can wish them that happy birthday or World Chimpanzee Days. Okay, you can celebrate that also. Okay. Now we know that we are related to many of them. We are related to all of them. First, it has started from bacteria. From bacteria, we have evolved up to humans. Humans are considered as the last level in the succession as of now. We are the most evolved. Okay. As for bio, we have most evolved structure, that is humans. Okay. As for bio only. Okay. So if we look at this, why we are saying it memory drive? It has information about all these evolutions. When we analyze the cell, when we analyze the genetic material, we get to know about our ancestors also. We get to know like which organisms we are related to. Just to give an example, around 80 to 85% of genetic material of humans matches with around 80 to 85% of our genetic material matches with pig. So the heart of the pig or the liver of the pig can be transplanted into humans also. Okay. It is not about just the monkeys. We are related to many organisms. And this all information is coming from what? The genetic material. So we are related to all of them in the past. Just to give you another information, in 2020, what event was there? COVID. Okay. 100 years later, when people will forget about COVID, even at that time, when they will search the human genome or the genetic data of humans, they will get to know that 100 years ago, there was existence of a pandemic like COVID. They will also, when they will study about the genomes, when they will study about the genetic material of humans, even of the humans who are born in like let's say 2500 years, in 2500 AD, if there is a new person and when they will study the genes of that person, the genes will tell them that around 400 years ago, there was existence of a pandemic COVID. When we analyze, there is a climate change, there is going to be adaptation. When there is a climate change, there is going to be adaptation. That data of adaptation will be there. How chimpanzees got separated from humans or how they get separated from other life can be traced because of these genetic material. And at what point of time we have started to become different than the chimpanzees or than any other organism. So we can get to know from this memory drive. Even 100 years later, if there is a COVID-like similar pandemic, we will not be affected by them because there is going to be a memory of this. Otherwise, many of the diseases which may have existed in past may still haunt us, may still cause problem in us. But see, many of the problems of the past are gone now. Why they are gone? Because our body has recognized it, they have saved it in its memory. So we are getting rid of many of diseases also because it is acting as a memory drive. So how we are able to trace that first bacteria evolved, then other organism evolved? It is because it is a memory drive. So that is the role of genetic material. It is also giving us this like knowledge about the future. It is giving us the knowledge about future also, like how the things are going to change. Like suppose if we are checking the genetic data of human population, if any change is being noticed, so we will get to know that in upcoming times, maybe humans will have no ear. May happen, people will have no ears or may have no other like features. Things have changed over time. It's not that we always have the same ear or same size of ear. It has been changing. Our forehead has been changing, our limbs have been changing, our structure of like the entire body has been changing. And this change has occurred in just 10,000 years. This change is occurring in just 10,000 years. In upcoming times, we may have more changes. Humans may evolve. If you have been seeing the newspaper articles, nowadays people are mostly sitting. They are doing mostly desk job. Earlier, it was not mostly desk job. Earlier, it was more like they have to work in fields, they have to go hunting. There was continuous movement of body. But in the last 50, 60 years, what we see that now people are continuously sitting. So over the period of time, there will be change in the body posture of humans. In the next 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, there will be change in the posture of humans. You don't have to worry about it. Your features are not going to be upgraded. You are not Android. Okay. So every year you will get update. Okay. So it's not like that. Upcoming generations are going to have a change in the body posture. There is going to be a change in the neck posture and everything, because now you are continuously watching mobile phones. So next generation is going to suffer because of your activities. Okay. The upcoming generation is also going to suffer because of your activities. Okay. So all these things are there. They are also telling about the future. And this is not like just for fun part. If you see the newspapers, this is the reality. The human postures is changing in a gradual manner over the next 100 years. The position of our neck, of our spines is going to change. It has already been 100 plus years, and humans are very fast evolving creatures. Humans are very fastly evolving creatures. In upcoming times, it is going to change. How we are looking at things, how we are sitting, these all things are going to impact the upcoming generation. So sit in a proper position. Otherwise, the future generation will blame you. Okay. That you have led to this change in the entire genetic data. Okay. So this is one part. It is also an indication. This is an indication of future change. So that is one thing about genetic material. That is one basic thing about genetic material. You know that it tells us about the diseases also. It tells us about their solution also. It is a very important resource right now. A very important resource. Just to give you one example. You may have heard about Bt cotton. Bacillus thuringiensis bacteria is there. So we have been using the genetic resource for changing the productivity of our crops, for changing the resistance of our crops. We have used a gene Cry1AC, Cry2AB. These genes have been used to modify the cotton plants. We have got resistance in them to pink bollworms and other bollworms. So we are using the genetic resource also for the future. We are using them to modify our crops. We are using it to modify many of animals also or other organisms also. It is a very important resource also. So this is one part. What is the genetic material useful for? Okay. First, write a little bit about this, and then we will come to DNA, RNA separately. So write this one part. Cell has three components. The cell has three basic components. The cell has three basic components: plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and genetic material. Write down one small point. A cell cannot exist. A cell cannot exist if it is not having plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and genetic material. Here in the note you can write, a virus is not considered as living organism, a virus is not considered as a living organism because it is having only genetic material, because it is having only genetic material, and it is devoid and it is devoid of, means इसमें नहीं होता है, devoid means it doesn't contain, and it is devoid of cytoplasm and plasma membrane. Cytoplasm and plasma membrane. Next heading, genetic material. Genetic material. In this, write one part. The genetic material is the foundation of life. The genetic material is the foundation of life. It consists of DNA, RNA, proteins, nucleic acids, amino acids, protein, amino acids, etc. Just write a subheading, functions of genetic material. Functions of genetic material. It is the command center of the cell. It is the command center of the cell, and it is responsible for each and every function or activity of the cell. Each and every function or activity of the cell. And it is responsible for each and every function and activity of the cell. Function and activity of the cell. Second point, it also provides the blueprint of life. It also provides the blueprint of life. It determines the shape, size, work, etc. Shape, size, work, etc. of any cell. Say shape, size, work, etc. of any cell. Third point, it also works as the memory drive. It also works as the memory drive. It stores information. It stores information. It stores information related to incidences of the past. Incidences of the past. Whatever incidents have taken place in the past, it is recording all information. It also provides information about evolution and adaptation in any cell or organism. It also provides information about evolution and adaptation in any cell or organism. Next point, indication of the future. Here you can write, it also suggests the forthcoming changes. It also suggests the forthcoming changes in any organism or community at a whole, or community at whole means the entire community of organism which may be there. So these are like some parts about genetic material. When we will discuss this DNA and RNA, you will get the exact clarity that they are not only this like the brain, they are the executioner also, like they are the judge, jury and executioner. They decide each and everything. They will command also, they will execute also, and if anything goes wrong, then they will take actions also accordingly. Okay. Like suppose if any part of the cell, if it is not behaving in a proper manner, that may be destroyed by the cell. Okay. So it is the punisher also. Okay. So it is taking action on all these parts. It will decide the policy, it will execute the policy. If someone is violating the policy, it will give the punishment also. That is the command center. That is the genetic material. It decides each and everything of the cell. Why I am saying this, it will be clear when we will discuss all the components of it. Like you may have read about one thing, lysosome, suicidal bag of the cell. The suicidal bag of the cell is not only just killing the cell. Suicidal bag of the cell is also destroying some portions of the cell on the command of the nucleus or on the command of genetic material. Okay. So that is one thing also which we will see later, that what is the role of different part of the cell. Okay. But today, since there is also one event, so we are having class only till 2:45. Tomorrow we will discuss this part of DNA, RNA and related things. First sit down. First I will take questions from online and then offline. Okay. So those who are in online, please ask your question if you have any. Cell is not Hitler. No. Any question from online section? Yes, Shama. Yes. Today we have class till 2:45. Tomorrow we will have class from 1 to 3 p.m. Okay. There will be a variety of, yes, that is going to take place. The posture of organisms, the organs of organism, they evolve with time. Virus can be said as connecting link between living and non-living. Forthcoming means, that is not forthcoming changes. No need of reading NCERT for science, just this class will be sufficient. We will come to this cytoplasm and plasma membrane. Cytoplasm is having many substances. Plasma membrane is mainly made of lipids, that is fat and protein. Virus is having no life, so there is no life period. Mitochondria has come into cells at a later stage of time. Many of the cells can survive without mitochondria also. Like many of the cells can survive without mitochondria. So mitochondria is something which has come later on. Forthcoming means the changes which are coming in future. In many organisms, you will not find mitochondria. In many of the cells, there will be no mitochondria. Memory drive in layman's term. Memory drive in layman's terms only. Like you have memory disk. So in that manner, I have said memory drive. Any questions from offline? Yes. A little louder. Cells come from pre-existing cells. Yes, it's coming from pre-existing cells. Like suppose we have a skin cells. So normally when you are sitting in your room or when you are coming here, every moment some of your cells are dying and some new cells are also getting generated. So cells will reproduce new cells and some cells will die also. Like most of the time when there is dust in your room, it is just because of you. When there is dust in your room, it is just because of you, because it is your dead cells which is coming out of your body. Okay. So next time when you find your room dirty, a mitochondria is something we will see later. In some cells there is no such mitochondria. So what depends there is, we will see about virus. We will see that there are RNA based virus also, DNA based virus also. Okay. So chalo, I think from these sections, new genetic material. It depends on the organism. Like when we are talking about microorganisms, suppose bacteria or mosquitoes, they evolve over a period of few months to few years. When we talk about human organisms, it may take hundreds of years. Just for a small change for human organisms, it may take hundreds of years. For microorganisms, it can be done in a few like days also, a few months also, and in a year there can be a rapid transformation. Like when we were having COVID virus, you may have seen this one part that in just 5 to 6 months, there were multiple variants of COVID. So how did they come to there? Because there was changing nature of these viruses also. In bacteria also, there is similar evolution in them. So genetic material keeps on changing with like as per the organism. In some, there is rapid transformation. In some, there is gradual one. In long term, habits may form. Okay. But mainly the genetic material is influenced by the climate, the environment in which we are having. Habit may form, but not over like 1 year or 2 years. It happens over generations. Like if there is a continuous habit of a particular kind, then over the generations it will form. No, that is not genetic change. See, there is one thing. Inside our body, once the genetic information has been there, there is not going to be a major change in that part. When we talk about genetic change, it means from one generation to other generation. It is not within the body that change will occur. It is about generation to generation. Like suppose one generation of human is coming, then second, third, fourth, fifth. So in this manner, there will be change. So that is one thing which is noticeable. Within humans, there is no such change. That is more of like the physiology of the body. The organs and other things will change. The genes will not change. Even if there is a change, there is a minor change which is not going to affect in the future. So let's meet in the next day session tomorrow, and then we will discuss about remaining things. Thank you everyone.